Hello, everybody, and welcome tonight here to South Boston Speedway for the Crooked Line Racing League Rebels 125. My name is Zach Wetstein. I'm here tonight with Tanner Marr. How you doing tonight, Tanner?
Doing good, Zach. Excited to see these tour mines do battle at South Boston. We've talked a little bit off stream about our thoughts for the race, what we think it's going to go. It's a tough track. It's going to be tough racing conditions for the fellas tonight.
Yeah, this track's under half a mile in length, and the fronts and back straights are not very wide at all, so any kind of wreck where a car's turned around, that's going to kind of block the entire track, I feel like. So we'll see. Hopefully we don't have to see that tonight, but you kind of expect something like that at short tracks like this. 81 degrees is the track temperature here tonight, nighttime race, and these guys are ready to do some qualifying here.
You know, Zach, I think with a short track like this, the first thing you got to care about and think about is just put the least amount of cars out in front of you as you can, meaning try to qualify, put down your best lap as you possibly can because you do not want to be down on the grid when you go to take the green flag here tonight.
Well, for some reason, my sound is not unmuting iRacing, so let's try this again. Alright, that should fix it. There we go. Alright, sound is fixed, and let's go. So far, Jason Day has put up the fastest time, but a lot of people left to qualify. We got Jeff Paisley here in the 7 machine. He races in the Wednesday night modified series in Thunderstruck, so using this maybe as a well, it's not going to be the same track, but he at least gets to run in the same car and get some more laps under his belt.
Yeah, so we brought Jeff Paisley in as an affiliated driver with Five Kings Motorsports and extended the olive branch out to him and Will Paisley, both of them affiliates now, and they asked him if they wanted to come run Tuesday nights, and this is a great warm-up for Jeff going into tomorrow night's Thunderstruck Series.
He qualifies 6th with that lap. We got George Kennard here in the 5, going to put his first lap down. Oh, and it gets loose. And unfortunately going to have to go back into pit road. And, oh, well, I guess he's just going to go back out there. And usually you'd see people tow after that and go get a new car, new tires. But he's going to stick with it.
Yeah, I'm shocked to see he didn't just say, okay, I got to reset here.
Maybe after that one.
Right. I think that's going to be what we're going to see drivers fighting the most tonight, Zach. I did some practice laps out here. And, man, if you overshoot your entry just a tiny little bit, you upset the car completely. And you're spending the whole rest of the corner just chasing the car, it feels like. And you chase it too much, you see what happens.
See, I mean, we talked about it at the Open, but, oh, and he gets loose again. So he's going to have to find a way to correct that in his car here tonight with how loose it is, kind of in the center of the turn. But you really see for yourself how close quarters those front and back straights are. Not very wide at all. You can maybe fit 2 cars, definitely not 3 wide. You don't want to be, even if you could fit 3 wide on the front stretch, you don't want to be 3 wide going into the turn, so it wouldn't work anyways.
Yeah, Zach, going on that, I'll be honest, being on the inside, I don't even want to get on my outside at this track. It's not very wide at all. And, I mean, like we said, one slip up, if you hit the outside wall, you hit the inside wall. If your car ever turns sideways, you block the whole track then.
George Kennard 8 is able to put a lap down. 15th fastest so far. And shortly after here, once he's done qualifying, we'll go ahead and check out your remaining schedule in this series as we're early into the season. Looks like he might just be doing some practice laps now. Maybe find a way not to get loose during the race. Probably a good idea. But we'll go ahead and check out schedule real quick. Next week, we head to Iowa Speedway for 100 laps around that track. Then we go to Oxford Plains Speedway a week after that. And that's when we really start to get kind of into the middle of the season once we get to around Phoenix. Now, we're technically lap-wise shortest race of the season, but it is a mile in length compared to a lot of these tracks that we run that are about a half mile or less.
I tell you what, Zach, that Oxford Plains race in 2 weeks, that's going to be a crazy race. That's the smallest track that we're going to go to, and I think tempers are going to fly the most there.
Yeah, I mean we're at South Boston tonight, and it's a short track itself. To think that there's a track shorter, which there are plenty, it's crazy to think about racing on those sort of tracks, just because I mean quarter mile tracks, there's just no room, and you can't give up an inch to anybody, just because when you talk about those kind of short tracks, you don't want to get stuck on that high lane if the bottom lane is preferred. And if you get knocked out of that bottom lane, you could be stuck up there with people passing you on the inside for 5-10 laps. So, yeah, you talk about tempers. That's going to be, I think, the theme of that race at Oxford.
You know, Zach, that's a great segue talking about the bottom lane versus the high lane. We actually have the post hitter right now, Jason A. Day, number 52 machine, up in the booth with us. Jason, this is Zach and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we see you put it on the pole. You got your race win last season in the SK. Starting in the pole position, you've had some bad luck tonight. What's your outlook just going into this race? You just turning laps, or are you going to try to like set a statement out here tonight?
Well, after that first race of the year where I led quite a few laps and then got stuck in the pit, so I had some rough trouble and I got wrecked last week. I just trying to prove some of my speed, so hopefully can keep it up front. I'm just worried about pitch strategy here. It's such a hard track to get by guys. The track position is so key, so I'm still debating on whether to take tires, not to take tires, stay out, all that good stuff.
I know, and I tell you, I like being up in the booth and not on the track during times like this because you never know. No matter what you do, you feel like you make the wrong decision, Jason. But we'll be here calling all the action. I have faith in you. You're starting P1, so you're in a great spot to start the race. You have any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out before we send you over to the league race team?
For sure. Thank my Five Kings teammates, Five Kings Motorsports, and look them up on Facebook. MF Designs, Butt Kicker, McConey Setup Shop, and just thank my family for letting me race when I can.
I tell you what, Jason, I feel like you've said it a time or two. You're becoming a pro at it, buddy. But yes, sir, good luck to you. We'll be here at the end. Maybe we'll be talking to you when the race is done.
Thanks, guys.
You know, Zach, we didn't talk about it, but I got to thinking I'd like to bring Zach Murphy over here real quick because he's the current points leader,
Okay.
and he'll be starting in the back of the pack tonight. So just want to get a quick little word from him. Zach Murphy, this is Zach and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
So, Zach, I watched you, Irwindale, you put on a clinic. Last week, you put on a clinic. Now, you're the current points leader coming into the night, but you already know no matter what, you're starting in the back of the pack tonight. How does that make you feel coming into this race? Like, what's your strategy like? If you can tell us just a small glimpse of it.
Well, first off, as always, at South Boston, trying to stay out of trouble. You know, felt a little loose in practice. Hopefully, on the long run, it'll come in, and we move up through here. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, South Boston can definitely breed trouble. That's what me and other Zach, my co-host here, he was talking about how the track's not wide at all. I mean, if there's any incident on the front stretch or back stretch, it turns into a parking lot before you know it. I mean, you look up and boom, there's going to be 4 or 5 cars sideways. So we're running out of time here, Zach. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out before I send you back over to your race team, brother?
Yeah, I just want to thank the guys at Sim Crow at my race team that I race with, and yeah, hopefully keep our nose clean for the first 60 here, and then we'll go race after that. All right, thank you guys.
Right on, Zach. Well, I tell you, like I told Jason, we'll be here calling all the action. Wish you nothing but the best. Good luck to you, and maybe we'll be here at the end talking to you, Zach.
Take care, guys.
Well, Zach number one, there you hear it. That's Zach number two. You're the number one in here tonight, calling all the action alongside. I'm going to Well, I was gonna say relay over to race control that they can advance session, but we gotta have 6 seconds, so we'll let that ride
Yeah.
out, Zach,
Yeah.
and get these boys on the grid and see what they got here tonight.
Yeah, it looks like we got Ken Zeems and Timothy Trowbridge did not qualify, so it looks as if we're going to have about 17 cars here tonight or so, give or take less or more. We'll see. But yeah, we're gridding up, so we'll take a quick look as Jason Day gets a pole spot with a 14.388. Next to him will be Christian Pittman, who really dominated Bristol, but ran out of fuel late in the race, and that cost him. But he'll start second in this one, with Matt Zaccardo behind him in third. Brad Ringer in the 76 starting on the outside of row 2 and fourth. Tommy Dunn in the 63 going to be starting P5 here tonight, with Jeff Paisley, who newcomer in this series, starting in 6th. Justin Carey starting this one in 7th, with the 30 of Garland Bennett starting in P8. Zach Murphy, who we just talked to, he'll be going to the back, but he's in that number 16 car with Frank Barbary starting this race in 10th. Brad Carpenter, who will be starting, everybody in the outside row from here on out will be starting at least one spot ahead of where we say, but for qualifying at least, Brad Carpenter qualifies 11th, with 12th being Tyler Catalano. 13th here tonight is Keith Mack, with the 3 of Ron Daughtry starting in 14th. George Kennard gets the 15th spot in qualifying. And like we said, I think Ken Zeems and Timothy Trowbridge are going to be racing here tonight. Yep, Ken Zeems is gridded up, but not Timothy yet.
I think Timmy messaged me and said he was having hardware issues, so he actually might not be in the race here tonight.
Yeah, so Ken Zeems will round out the field then. He's P16 right now. But Jason Day going to be the one to lead this pack to the green flag here tonight at South Boston. We're just awaiting the grid to end, and I believe we are about to roll off here. But we got 125 laps for you guys here tonight. Get ready for some action-packed racing here at South Boston. Like we said, we got 16 cars here tonight, and that's more than enough for a track that's under half a mile.
Absolutely, Zach. And I mean, I try to stay as biased as I can up in the booth, and I say that just because, I mean, it's not a secret that I'm the owner and one of the founders of Five King Motorsports, and it's pretty cool sitting here seeing 2 Five King Motorsports drivers in the 1-2 position on the grid here. Now, will they finish that way? Who knows? But I want to add a little backstory into Jason Day's car. So, like I told you, he's Canadian, and when MF Race designed his paint scheme, it's supposed to be like a maple syrup type look. So, hopefully now when you look at that, you can't think of nothing else but pancakes and syrup and all that goodness.
Well, I appreciate that, I guess. Now I'm going to be here broadcasting every Tuesday, wanting pancakes, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
So that was a pretty cool little tidbit that I found out.
As the pace car is off and the green flag is out, and we're racing here at South Boston Speedway as the battle for the lead was side by side into one, but Jason Day is able to take it away out of 2.
I think we're going to see drivers. You got to fight to get down low here, Zach. So, and another caution already this early in the race. But yeah, you got to fight to get down low, and that's going to involve clearing yourself, and you're probably not clear.
Well, let's see if maybe that happened here. Oh, no, maybe just some contact to Tommy Dunn. We'll check this out with you. Just a teeny bit of contact from the 42. That is Justin Carey. And that, I mean, just barely contact, but enough in these cars that Tommy Dunn spins around. And we're already starting to see some strategy here early on.
Yeah, we see it every week, every Tuesday night in this series, Zach. You're going to have people electing to come in, and so they're allowed 100% fuel, but the setup we provide them does not have 100% fuel in it from the start. So they're going down pit lane right now and adding a gallon here, a gallon there. So at the stage break, competition caution at lap 60, they don't have to sit in there and fill up and put 11, 12 gallons in the car, because we see it every week. These cars, they take the longest on the entire sim to put fuel in. So if you don't take your fuel in increments, you will go a lap down, especially at a track like Sobo.
But this is what can happen. We already have a couple cars that are going to go a lap down because of it, it looks like.
Yep, you got to do it quick. You can only take like a gallon. You cannot get cute. You can't try to take 2 gallons, 3 gallons. We tested it. You can get by with a gallon, but you got to be quick. You can't lollygag at all. And even sometimes, Zach, you have to exit a closed pits and just go ahead and take that EOL to the back of the line versus actually going a lap down.
Yeah, we already have now Keith Mack, Ron Daughtry, Brad Carpenter, and Justin Carey all go a lap down by just taking a little bit too much fuel.
Justin Carey in the 42 machine, he got the EOL and went down pit road, got his fuel, and he manually disconnected. So I'd say he don't agree with the call on the EOL, but that's race control's call.
I mean, I'm not race control, but he did cause the wreck. So, I mean, as a driver, you're allowed to have your own opinion, but when it comes to race control, they have the final say.
You know, that's one thing I like and hate about racing. You know, each driver sees it different out their own windshield. And until you go back and watch the replay, you may think you're not at fault at all. And then you watch the replay, you're like, I may have been at fault, you know. But we're going to have a single file restart as that iRacing sedan's getting ready to make that hard left turn on the pit road.
Ken Zeems chose to go down pit road. He's just getting around the back stretch. But for our leaders, Jason Day, Christian Pittman, and Matt Zaccardo, the top 3, the green flag is out. A big jump from the 52 gets him out to a nice lead. The battling is, I think I saw some battling going on back here, but with the single file restart, that's kind of the what you want from single file restarts is you don't want a lot of racing early on because that's when it can be most dangerous is if you're starting side by side going into a turn, you have no choice but to have to race somebody whether they're on your outside or inside.
You're exactly right. And that was one thing I stressed with the race control tonight and our driver's meeting, Zach. I told the boys, I was like, if it's lap 12, there's no reason to be trying to battle with somebody. Yes, you want their position, but do it methodically and do it the way you'd want somebody to do it to you. If somebody's faster, you don't want them just pile driving you to get by, you know? You got to do it with respect. And I'm hoping that's what these boys, I hope they listen to me. I hope they lend an ear to me and try to do that tonight.
Like I mentioned earlier, Christian Pittman dominant at Bristol, but ran out of fuel late in the race, so he's just looking to have a nice rebound race. Get the win if you can, but just finish one up here in the front and have a good race after a tough finish last week.
In the iRacing voice chat, he wasn't really complaining, but he was just coming over voice comm saying he's struggling. He hates this track, so I'm actually interested to see him running second with what he feels about this track.
Matt Zaccardo and Brad Ringer in the 3rd and 4th position as Brad Ringer's looking to try to take that 3rd spot away from Matt in that 60 red and white machine.
But Brad Ringer, he's showing 76 in sim, but showing number 4 on my side, so that's a little confusing for me at times, so I might call him the wrong number here tonight.
Zach Murphy, I thought, was Zach Murphy the one who had to go to the back?
Yes, he was, and you see where he's at now.
Oh, because it's showing him as if he started 9th, but I'm not sure if it counts the EOL along with it.
They get the EOL as soon as they start rolling. If we do it before
that. Oh, okay.
iRacing will give him a black flag and stuff. It's really weird.
Oh, okay. Well, he's already up to 7th, so heck of a start to this race for him.
Started 16th, worked his way up to 7th, and now granted, we did have a few drivers pit, but still, he's had to pass a few drivers at least.
Yeah, he's working on the back bumper now of Garwin Bennett ahead of him there in the 30 car. As we are 18 laps in now to this 125 lap event. Jason Day, still your leader, our pole sitter. Really the top 4 are in the same position that they started this race. It goes Jason Day, Christian Pittman, Matt Zaccardo, and Brad Ringer. The movement really only starts in the top 5 or in the 5th position where Jeff Paisley's gained 1 spot. He started 6th, now up to 5th.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting to see the top 4. They're just riding out how they started. I mean, you can see that people in the back, you got Frank Barbary, he started 10th on the grid, he's worked his way up to 8th, but there's not been a whole lot of movers other than Zach Murphy in the 29 machine that's gained a lot of spots from where he actually gridded.
Yeah, George Kennard and Ken Zeems, they are 10th and 11th right now. They've both gained 5 spots from the start of the race. Whether that's due to people pitting or not, they still gain those 5 spots. So we'll give the credit to them.
Right. I think it's a tough break for the ones that elected to pit for their little splash and go of fuel that I think was more than a splash and go because it resorted them going a lap down. That's Keith Mack, Brad Carpenter, and Ron Dartry.
Oh, yeah, I was actually wrong. That's the 55 of Keith Mack trying to make a pass on George Kennard. If I'm Keith right now, unless I get Brad Carpenter to the back end of my car, I'm going to take it easy in that 55 machine because you're not going to gain anything from passing Mr. George Kennard, and unless that person that you're racing for that free pass spot gets up to you, just take it easy.
You're exactly right. And what to add on to that, I don't want to race anybody right now, Zach, if I'm a 55 machine, because if a caution comes out, if I get any contact, I'm not the lucky dog then. iRacing won't give it to me. As you see, the 55 machine, he loses his buffer between him and Brad Carpenter now. Brad Carpenter's right on his butt to try to fight for the lucky dog position.
Yeah, that was Ken Zeems in the 90 going around, and Brad Carpenter in the 31 trying to get that free pass spot before a potential caution can come out.
No matter what, we know we have a caution coming at lap 60 for the competition caution, so you just gotta, no matter what, you have to stay in that lucky dog position, no matter if it's lap 1 or lap 27 or lap 59. You know, you never know when that next caution's actually going to fall.
A lot of close racing going on right now from 2nd through 4th, as looks like Matt Zaccardo might have a little bit more speed than Christian right now, but that's the great thing about this track is it's so tough to pass that even if you aren't faster, if you can just not make a mistake and stay in front of them, you can hold them back for a long time.
You're exactly right. Christian right now, he's just trying to hit his marks and make sure he don't want to open that bottom up at all, because if Zaccardo can put his nose in there at all, Christian Pittman's behind the 8 ball then. Even if he is in front of him and in the corner, you cannot give up that bottom here at South Boston on kind of fresh tires. I mean, yes, they've used the tires a little bit, but they're not too wore right now, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, and you got to be careful if you're that car that's a little bit faster trying to make a pass. We saw how such little contact can turn a car around in these cars, so you got to be very careful when you're trying to make a pass that you don't make the wrong move and then dive to their inside and make contact. And that would actually, second caution is out right on cue, I guess. Oh, that's a 55 of Keith Mack around.
Oh,
Maybe some racing for the free pass might cost 2 people and give it to the third if it was a race between the 55 and the 31. It was not. All right, let's check out what happened then. On exit, oh, the car in front of him gets a little loose. It looked like the 29 of Frank Barbary got loose in front of him and came down, because at least from my point of view, it didn't look like the 55 really had anywhere to go. Let's go on board and check it out real quick. I mean, that's tough to judge because the 29 technically didn't come down into him, but he did hold a lower line on exit.
The way I look at that, Zach, and they actually gave Frank Barbary in the 29 machine the EOL right there. I'm not
sure about that one, to be honest with you.
I'm not a fan of that call. I'm not a fan of that call at all. If anything, the way I see it, and this is just me. Oh, they said, Frank, I did not mean to do that.
Oh, well
Oh,
then.
we got problems. We got big problems. Zach, excuse me for a minute, buddy.
Okay. We have Tommy Dunn, Tyler Catalano, George Kennard, all down pit road along with Keith Mack, but nobody else on the pit road. Tommy Dunn gets out in time. Tyler Catalano gets out on time, but George Kennard does not. That's another case of losing the lead lap on pit road.
Aye, Zach. So that was a case of race control trying to be too fast on the EOL, and I'm pretty mad right now. I can't lie. That's I have 2 people in race control. I'm so thankful they do it for me. So I can't say a whole lot. I've done it before. I've actually DQ'd somebody on accident, so I understand how it happens. But man, that stinks. I'm not too sure where Frank Barbary was running at right there, but
You can
as
clear
you know,
penalties, right?
they cleared it, but the EOL's already been granted,
Oh.
so it don't go back. It's going to just have to be water under the bridge now. It's a tough break for Frank, and that's a bad look. I don't like that.
Well, we're back to double file restarts now. We had a lot of green flag racing there, so we've been given back the double file restart, you could say, and leader is off, and oh man, they were almost 3 wide back here for the 5th position. Zach Murphy on the outside of Jeff Paisley. Not going to be able to get down to the inside line just yet. Jeff working really hard and almost a little bit of contact, but they're able to keep straight, and Zach Murphy holds that 5th position as caution is out. 3rd caution of the race, and Keith Mack might have been around again.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough break as I come over to Discord to try to see it from your point of view. You're the master of
Oh,
these
it was in
replays.
front of him, I think.
It looked like it as we were going backwards.
Watch ahead of him here. 3 wide almost, not enough room, and right in front of him. I mean, that's pretty much a perfect case of what we talked about earlier.
You know what, Zach? That's Frank Barbary. I think he would get the EOL right there. He got the EOL
man.
before that, so it's almost like he said, well, hey, you EOL'd me, well, I'm not supposed to be EOL'd. Now EOL this.
Oh, man. Let's go take a look. Yeah, that's Frank Barbary on the inside.
I mean, ain't that the way you see it? It looks like Frank Barbary.
No.
I don't know, actually.
That's Ron Daughtry
viewpoint,
sliding a little bit.
yeah, that viewpoint changed it a lot. That shows right there, out your windshield, you see something completely different. When we were riding with Keith, it looked completely different to us.
Yeah, the 3 definitely got loose and came down. 29, nowhere to go. We'll see how they judge that. I can't imagine they'd give him an EOL, but, I mean, he basically is having to serve a penalty because he's stuck in pit road right now and is going to go a lap down.
That's a tough break, too. I mean, South Boston, dude, you're turning, what are they turning?
14 second laps.
14-second laps. They're turning about 35-second laps under caution. So, you don't have a lot of time on pit road here.
Yeah, that's what I always like to point out on these short tracks is you're running faster laps going 50 miles per hour or less than better laps doing that than you are at these 1.5 miles.
And see, one thing a lot of people don't understand it too, South Boston has one of the worst pit roads possible. If you notice, it opens up at the exit of turn 2 and it opens up at the exit of turn 4. If a driver gets confused and drives down the wrong pit lane, kind of like Bristol, you know, they'll get a penalty. It'll give them an unsafe pit entrance. Whereas on Bristol, it don't do that. On Bristol, you can just drive through and go on around to your regular pit road.
Got to be super careful there.
There's a way they can tell with there's a blue line there that people always talk about, but I'll be honest, I've never seen the blue line on entry.
Well,
but I hear people say it all the time.
We haven't seen many of these guys, or any of these guys up front. We heard from our pole sitter just how important that track position is going to be up front. And, I mean, how can you go down pit road before that halfway mark when you have that clean air? It's just really difficult to do.
Ooh, we had like 4 drivers right then, Zach, spin their tires. What's showing as a 4 machine, Brad spun his tires. That white car, that's Ricardo, he spun his tires. And there was like 3 or 4 cars that actually spun right then.
Jeff Paisley wins the battle over Ken Zeems for 6th.
Looks like Christian.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it looks like Christian Pittman's applying a little bit more pressure to Jason Day here. He was able to restart fairly close to him, and he's sticking right there with him and filling his mirror up right now.
Absolutely. That 8 quick loans machine really working his way up to the 52 of Jason Day. And he is all over the back bumper, but that's the problem. I mean, we saw it with Matt Zaccardo behind Christian. You can get to the back bumper, but trying to make the pass is a lot harder.
Yep, getting there is only half the battle. Then you gotta try to find a way to get around that car in front of you too.
Tough race for Keith Mack. That's him coming out of pit road right now. As I believe he's at least 3 laps down or so.
It's currently 6 laps down on mine.
Tough
Very
race.
tough break.
Christian Pittman
race.
all over the back bumper right now. Jason Day just nowhere to go with it.
And see, like I hit on earlier, these guys are teammates. But I promise you, when I'm racing with the Five Kings guys, I race them the same as I race you, Zach. You know, I'm gonna race you hard. And I think Christian, if he's faster than Jason, eventually he'll get tired of following him in his tracks. You know, and that's what we expect. We expect everybody to go out here and try to win the race, and that's what these boys are going to try to do, teammates or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's kind of settled down throughout the field. Still some close racing, but everybody's single filed out right now, and we're, sorry about that, 7 laps out from the competition caution.
I'm glad you reminded me of that so I could remind my race control. I didn't know if I told him or not. But it looks like Christian Pittman, he kind of got loose a while ago, Zach, and that's allowed Jason to create a little bit of breathing room. Not a whole lot, but a comfortable little gap. But Christian Pittman, in one corner, he brings it right back to him.
Yeah, I mean, you almost don't have enough time to set up a pass at this track, I feel like, with how quick you're in and out of turns. It's just, when do you set up that pass? I mean, you want to be up next to somebody going into the turn, but there's just not very much time in the front or back stretch to do that.
And I know me and you have hit on it a lot. These short tracks, it's all momentum. But it also takes that driver in front of you. He has to make a little bit of a mistake. He either has to open up the door, maybe he gets a little loose, has to feather, like pedal it a little bit. But, I mean, Jason Day, he's a veteran. It's going to take a lot of pressure for him to do that, I think. So Christian just needs to stand there and bide his time and just, I guess, wait for the competition caution and hope he plays the right pit call right here.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a lot of people kind of remain where they have been a lot of this race. Zach Murphy on that restart did make a pass for 5th over Jeff Paisley, but, I mean, that's where you're going to see the most spots kind of given up or taken is on those restarts, because that's the best time to pass somebody is when you're, double wide. So if you're going to pass somebody in this race, it's most likely going to have to be those restarts just because of how tough it is under green. But if someone is able to make that pass safe for the win late in the race, you can do nothing but give them the props if you're that leader as the competition caution is out.
I'm so dumb. I was looking to find where the caution was. I was looking for smoke.
I almost did too, but then I saw his lap 60 and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, I know you can find it really quick, but you have like a program or something like that, don't you, that tells you someone had an incident?
Well, SDK Gaming, their ticker, it shows, if somebody is like in 4th, as we're seeing everybody come down pit road, almost everybody, but our leader does not. A little bit of an odd call there, but we'll see. But my timing does show, like, say if you're in 4th and get wrecked out, it shows their name falling all the way down the leaderboard, and that's usually when it's easier to find the wreck.
Oh, okay. See,
but if it's sorry, go ahead.
I'm so competitive, even in the booth. I try to find it and see if I can find it where you do. Cause I look, try to find the smoke, and I can't never beat you. You always find it. You always have the replay pulled up by the time I even get it on my screen.
Yeah, usually if it's somebody a lap down or somebody at the end of the pack already when they wreck, it can be a little bit tougher to find. So I just look for somebody going down pit road or something. But if I don't get that, then that's when I rely really heavily on whoever I'm broadcasting with. But Jason Day, Brad Ringer, Tyler Catalano, Jeff Paisley, and George Kennard all stay out, it looks like.
I would love to pull Jason Day up to the booth right now, but I know he don't like doing mid-race interviews because he's so laser focused. But this call here, Zach, not to go in and get your fuel, I don't think these drivers can make it. I really don't. Even with the cautions we've had, I don't even think it was close.
We're gonna see. I mean, you would have thought that he would have hit at least at the competition caution to get fuel, because we're just gonna have to keep following that as this race goes on, as we are past halfway now officially. Still have 15 cars here racing tonight. Only one car that has not or will not finish this race under their own power at this point of the race. as Jason Day and Brad Ringer are going to line up as your front row. You're going to have to go all the way back to 6th with Christian Pittman on the outside in that 8. If you want to find the first person who went in and got fuel, and everybody behind him obviously did as well. We're going to see how this works out for Jason Day, but right now he's going to have a good lead going into 1. But yeah, we're going to be keeping a monitoring that close as how he is on fuel throughout this race, as we are double wide a lot through this pack right now.
And Christian Pittman, he's right on the back of Catalano, and Catalano's right on the back of Jeff Paisley there in the 7 machine. So Christian Pittman, he's been running in second all night out front, and looks like he's eager to get back there. And he's bringing Zach Murphy to 29. He took an EOL. He's last week's winner, and he's worked his way up to fighting for 4th position now, I believe.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. You saw Zach Murphy in the 29 follow Christian Pittman on the inside line past that driver, and that's what you got to do with these short tracks. If you can follow somebody as they're passing people and just basically get a free spot, if you can fill that hole. Oh, no! And we are big wrecking. Jeff Paisley's on his roof. It looked like there was a stack up, and there was nowhere to go for these drivers.
I was just about to hit on Catalano being stuck on the outside, too, because he lost 5 spots right there.
It looked like a stack up. I caught like the second half of it, so I'm not exactly sure, but at least my initial thoughts on this was it was a stack up, but we're going to find out. We got it here. Oh, actually, a car got loose. Oh, and then he made a little bit of contact, Jeff Paisley did, and that ultimately hurt him the most.
That was a weird flip, and even though he got back on his wheels, I think he's stuck there, Zach.
He's stuck on the pit wall, yeah.
Yeah, he can't get off that wall. That's a weird flip.
Yeah. iRacing physics, ladies and gentlemen. And he is stuck on that wall. I don't think he's going to be stuck on that wall when we get back. He's going to be in pit road, I imagine, or not even on the track.
I wish a driver would have came up to him and bumped him off the wall right there. You know you can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but what kind of damage is that going to give to somebody, you know?
Right. You got to think of that also. You're correct.
As Jason Day still choosing to stay out there through this caution. Hey, he's the one in the car. We're going to figure out here outside of the car how well this is going to work out for him here in about 50 laps or so.
I went over iRacing and asked him, and he said I'd rather not disclose that. So, Zach, I don't know, man. My hands are tied on it. I didn't think these boys would be close to making it. I really didn't.
You know what I say we do? We just sit back, relax, watch, and find out what happens.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My hands are tied. I ain't got to worry about it. I'm just going to call the action when it happens. I just hope we don't have a repeat of last week.
That's the better thing about being outside of the car is this past Sunday, fastest car on the track, but ultimately the pit strategy didn't work out for me, and I finished 4th. And I mean, those times are stressful when you know you can't make it, but somebody else can, and you just hope a caution comes out for you, and it just didn't for me. And I mean, those are the most stressful times when you're in the car, but when you're outside of the car, you don't have to worry about it as much. You just call what you see, and whatever happens, happens.
That incident right there allowed Christian Pittman to regain a second-place spot, but then that brought a new face to the front-running pack here, Zach Murphy. We've talked about him a lot tonight, but you have to, and when we watch the driver start in the back and puts himself up in the top 3 of the first 70 laps, I mean, you're going to get talked about, and that's why, as they're about to go green flag racing.
16th to 3rd in this race through 74 laps as the green flag is back out. And once again, a great restart from Jason Day, but man, he's got Christian Pittman all over the back bumper. Going to try to go to the inside, but just not able to. Is Jason doing a really nice job at holding the lead no matter what's behind him.
I can tell you, Jason Day's looking in his mirror. You don't want that 29 to get past that 8 machine, because that 8 machine, he'll race him. I said he'll race him hard, but he's not going to just bump and run him, I wouldn't think. As he gets pretty close, but Christian can't just ride right here. He has Zach Murphy breathing down his neck, too. Christian Pittman gets a great run off that corner right there. And he's going to look to the inside. I just couldn't. He couldn't risk it right then.
Yeah, if you look here, a mirror full of Zach Murphy, and then out front in front of you, you got a handful. So you always use the box term as a caution is out. You always use the box term. Well, that's kind of, we talk about when well, at least for you, when there's two people in front of you side by side and you have nowhere to go, that's you in a box. Well, this is another version of the box. Is, you know, someone in front of you and someone right behind you and nowhere to go.
Yeah, that's a cardboard box right there. That's not even a big box because there wasn't a whole lot of room in between none of them cars right there. I was honestly, Zach, I was starting to worry we was gonna have contact, and I was going to have a team meeting tonight right there because them boys were getting close with each other right then.
Oh man, unfortunately, Jeff Paisley, a second incident. It was a self spin.
That's a tough break for Jeff because he's had a really good showing tonight. Oh, the car just snapped on him. He tried to catch it. You could tell he had the wheels turned to the right, but once it went, it was too far gone.
That's going to bring out another caution for Jason Day to try to save as much as he can.
Man,
he's going to stay in that clean air for now.
I don't know if I feel like Jason likes seeing that caution. Let him breathe a little bit because, man, he had the fire breathing dragons right behind him, and they were putting a lot of heat on his back bumper right then.
He and Christian Pittman probably both let a sigh of relief out when that caution came out because, you know, Christian Pittman, I mean, he was probably white-knuckling his wheel just because you're trying so hard not to dive into the turn and wreck the person in front of you, but you're trying not to slow down too much to check up for him to where the guy behind you gets into you. So I imagine he's maybe a little relieved that caution came out.
And Zach Murphy, I mean, he wants to go back-to-back wins, and so the bounty comes into play. You win 2 races in a row, Five Kings Motorsports puts $25 on your head. If you win the race, you get 25. If somebody from the field wins the race, they get 25. So he's trying to go back-to-back first, and then he'll worry about the bounty after that.
Yeah, he wants to go back-to-back to get that 25 and 3 wins.
Right. And the way it's been before, we've had people match it. It's actually to as high as 75 before, I do believe.
That's the funny thing. If you guys watching aren't a part of iRacing or aren't a part of a league in iRacing, when you see a post go up in Discord about a money race or some sort of money being on the line, there always seems to be at least one more competitive person who's like, you know what, I'll match that. Let's bump that up a little bit. It always seems to happen, no matter what league you're in.
And sadly, you ask my fiance, it always seems to be me.
Oh.
I throw 5 Kings on anything.
Green flag
Jason Day gets a great restart. Oh,
yep.
I thought Zach Murphy was going to take the second place spot. Sorry for interrupting you.
You're fine.
I thought Zach was going to close the door right then, close the gap on Christian, but Christian Pittman got it together, and look, he's right
behind
back on
him.
Jason. Ooh, Christian got really, really loose
George
right there.
Kennard, and how is a caution not coming out? He has stopped on track, and there it is. I'm not sure what's happened to that car, but I think it's completely dead because he was moving the wheel, but the gas was not going, so that car completely destroyed. I just happened to look over at my timing screen and see 3 names start to fall. So, I mean, this is, you know, what short tracks are about when you have wrecks is sometimes they start in one turn and end in the other, and that's the case here. They get together, and actually it might have been a little bit of netcode. We'll check that out before the rest of the wreck. Let's check this close racing out. No, they were going to, I mean, it was netcode, but they were going to make contact anyways. Right. So they keep wrecking, and then nowhere to go. And, yeah, you see the motor blow right there. And, I mean, it's still green flag right here. I was amazed at how long the green flag stayed out. And, man,
I love that shot right there, Zach. Look at all the marbles.
I was about to say, thank you you kind of read my mind there.
Right. All that dirt and marbles up there. We call it marbles. What that is it's tire tread from these tires getting thrown up there. Rocks, dust, dirt. Basically, marbles and stuff that you don't want on your tires. You get on your tires, next corner you get into, it might get a little hairy. You might not have very much grip.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. I mean, here you don't want to be up there at all, but if you are forced up there or something, then you got to be careful. You might have a little bit of lack of grip, like you mentioned.
It was funny that you said these short tracks where you you can almost wreck in one corner, and then the very next corner you wreck. I was talking about last night. I said it only took me a lap and a half to finally wreck because I got loose in 1 and 2, chased it in 3 and 4, and then finally wrecked in 1 and 2 again, coming back around. So we thought that was pretty funny. I was like, yeah, it only took me a lap and a half to finally junk this car.
Hey, I
That's
mean,
just short track race. I mean,
you're
that's
just,
it.
yeah, short tracks, you're wheeling that car around the track, and even when you slip up, you got to continue. You got to keep wheeling it in there, and that's how that can happen. You get loose in one turn, you make it through, you get to the next one, and you want to do the same thing. You want to throw it in there, and that's when it finally splits on you.
Exactly. And these short tracks, you don't give them right side tires any time to cool down because you're putting friction on them. You're loading them up in the corner. You go down a little straightaway, and then you're loading them up again in the next corner, and they just never get time to actually cool.
We're lined back up here. Jason Day, Christian Pittman, your front row with Zach Murphy once again starting in third with Matt Zaccardo on his outside in fourth. Green flag getting ready to go back out. 35 laps to go in this race. Jason A. Day still has not pit in this race, and so we're trying to keep an eye on that, whether he's able to make it the next 34 or 35 laps.
I'm interested to see Zach Murphy starting third like that. I've expected one of these restarts, Zach, that he's just going to almost just fill the gap immediately where Christian's going to get. If Christian lets Zach Murphy by, I'm afraid he's going to get Zaccardo and the rest of them by as well. He'll lose a couple spots. So he has to stay on his A game, starting on that front row with Jason Day whenever Christian's on the outside.
Oh,
And Christian's loose
gets
again.
loose. And that might give up the position. Zach Murphy, nope. I mean, Christian Pittman gave it up and getting loose, and Zach Murphy still didn't have time, even though it was on the middle of the turn 1 and 2.
I've noticed Christian, he's diving it in a lot heavier now. I can see his car. You don't see no sparks because these modifieds are weird on this track, but you see his front end. It's sitting completely down. It's sealed to the ground where he's just jamming on the brakes, whereas it wasn't doing that as much earlier. So he's driving it in really, really deep right now, trying to make the most of those 4 fresh tires. I didn't even know he took tires, but he said over iRacing he took 4.
Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine that Christian Pittman, you're sitting in second. You're behind Jason Day, who has not pit once this race. If you can't pass him, you might as well try to take it easy, keep that second position, just in case he can't make it on fuel. Then you don't have to work hard to pass him. You'll just pass him when he goes to pit road.
Exactly right. And if, say, Jason Day's fuel this close, Jason wished he could get out to like a 3-second lead where he can go half throttle a few laps, and save whatever fuel he can, because every little bit you save adds up. I mean, it adds up fast, too, on these short tracks. But with Christian Pittman just filling his mirror up, Jason Day has no time to save except under caution.
Yeah, that's a really tough thing. Is some tracks you like you mentioned, let out to save gas. End of the turn, don't go full throttle on exit, those kind of things, just to save every bit of fuel you can. But it can be really hard at these short tracks where, you get back on the gas and 2 seconds later you're getting back off, and there's not much time to really save around here, especially when you got Christian Pittman on your back bumper. So, Jason, well, I mean, again, we've talked about it all race long after that halfway mark of 63 laps. And we'll continue to talk about it until the last lap, or at least if he runs out. But, man, it's either going to be really close or he's not going to make it, at least from what was said before the race about fuel.
Every driver I talked to said you had to stop at least once tonight. I have not talked to one driver. And I mean, I sit around and do a driver's meeting, and I go around the race teams. I talk to every race team. As we see Christian Pittman, you see how low he went right then, Zach? He's searching everywhere now. He knows he's faster than Jason. Jason's on older tires. Christian's on 4 fresh pieces of rubber, and he's searching now.
And I feel like this is going to bring the announcer's curse, but Christian Pittman doing a really nice job at racing so close to the back bumper of the 52 and not making contact.
I mean, he's putting all 4 tires down on the apron, and you heard me tell Scotty Stevens, watch out for that, because that's when race is going to happen.
Oh, there's the contact.
Oh, he almost got the barrel, but look, he got the good end of the stick by being down low right then, Zach.
I knew if I said anything, there'd be contact.
I mean, they're just racing at this point, though. I mean, I think teammates are out of the window. It ain't. I mean, it's boys have at it now. Gloves are off. We're racing.
Yep. What does teammate mean when you get down to 20 laps to go? Absolutely nothing. But with that little slip up, or a little bit of contact, actually, that did allow Jason Day to get out to a little bit of a decent lead to try to save fuel. But Christian Pittman right back to the back bumper, and And with how fast we've seen Jason Day be before, I'm not saying that he would be running away if he wasn't saving fuel. I'm not sure if he is or not, but maybe do you think he's lagging back a little bit like this, trying to save fuel while racing?
I think he might be doing exactly what you said. He may not be picking up full throttle as quick as what you should be or normally would, like he would be doing. He may be going half throttle. He may be lifting early, using less brake. I mean, any time that you're off that throttle, you're saving gas, and you can maximize it the most by lifting early, by not going full throttle like you hinted on. So, I'm sure he is, because we've seen Christian Pittman just right up on his bumper for lap after lap after lap. And we're closing in on 15 laps to go here, Zach.
15 laps to go for Jason Day to try to win this race, but Christian Pittman with those 4 fresh tires all over the back bumper once again. He's going to look to the bottom. He might be able to do it. Nope, just not enough room off of the turn. His caution is out. That is going to be a toss-up to this race up front, and that's going to help Jason Day if he needs help to save fuel.
Man, that's I could see Christian. He was entering higher and trying to cross him over, but man, there's no grip on the bottom, Zach. I mean, there's a reason why these drivers ain't down there. If there was grip down there, if it was faster, we'd see all 17 drivers down there, you know. So he's trying everything he can right now. And Zach, I gotta ask you, at what point?
Wreck. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry, I forgot there was a wreck. I'm so excited
You're
about the racing up front.
So it looks like just a teeny bit of contact. You see it right there, just a little bit, and it spins that car around. I'm not sure who turned him around, actually. It was Ron Dotcher who got turned.
I think it was Catalano. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry, but I think it was that car right there you see passing by.
Yeah, but he's getting the EOL. And that's tough for Catalano because he was just up inside the top 5 earlier in this race.
He was he restarted second. Sorry, race started talking. I wanted to hear what they said. He restarted second earlier, but he got hung up on the outside line, Zach, and he fell back to 4th and rode for a little bit, and then went from 4th to 9th, like in a blink of an eye. But what I wanted to ask you a while ago, I ask you this all the time. You're a racer. How frustrated do you think Christian Pittman's being right now? He's got to be frustrated in the car because he knows he's faster than Jason Day. Anytime Jason Day pulls away from him, Christian comes right back to him. He reels him right back in. He fishes him back in. You think Christian's getting frustrated in the car?
I mean, you absolutely are. You know you have more speed, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I don't think there's much more when you're racing, at least, that can frustrate you more is when you know you have the speed, you just can't make the pass. And it's not always because you're not good enough to make the pass. It's mostly just the circumstances of what track you're at. And, I mean, absolutely, it can be easily the most frustrating thing during a race, unless you get wrecked out, of course.
I'd like to see Christian Pittman put a half bumper out. Oh, he gets shoved right then, gets a bad. Oh, no. That's going to open the door for Zach Murphy, but then Christian Pittman gives Zach Murphy a shot getting into the corner. Yeah, if Christian wasn't mad before, he's mad now.
Oh, man. I wasn't looking at it at the screen when they first went off, so I'm not sure what happened there.
It's hard for me to call, Zach. Not sure if Christian Pittman spun his tires or if Ricardo just tried to jump.
Well, luckily for both, they're able to stay in their own respective positions. And, well, obviously Christian lost one, and so did Zaccardo, but they stay on track 3rd and 5th. So it could have been worse, but obviously Christian loses that much-needed position because it's tough to pass, and I would say almost nearly impossible to try to pass 2 people, as we only have 6 laps to go, and Jason Day looking good so far, but still, that's a long time to run out of fuel.
Right, and this is not me writing off Zach Murphy, but I think the race was won for Jason Day if he makes it on fuel with that restart right there. I mean, we still have some laps left. Zach Murphy may be able to get to him, but Christian Pittman, he pancaked that wall, and I think he damaged that car, Zach.
He is back in 3rd still, so I said it earlier. You'd like to win, but at least for Christian after the heartbreak last week, if you can at least finish inside that top 3, top 5, I would call it a win for him just because of the tough luck he's had really to start the entire season. when he had trouble to open the season as well.
Yep, I'm actually trying to pull up the points now because he's been up front a lot, but he's not been able to get the finishes that he rightfully deserves. So he's currently sitting 16th right now in the points, Zach. Christian Pittman is.
Yeah, he got wrecked a couple times at Irwindale to open the season, and then obviously last week, if you tuned in, he ran out of fuel. So that's really hurt him to open the season. But 1 lap to go. Jason Day looks to make it on fuel, but he's still got to make it around one more time because Zach Murphy's there to take advantage if he runs out. But, man, short laps, 14 seconds.
Ooh,
Jason Day gets around, and he's going to win here at South Boston Speedway. Zach Murphy second, Christian Pittman third. What a race from Jason Day to make it on fuel and stay out front all race long.
Zach Murphy said, "Whoa, I thought you were gonna get me right there, Christian." Christian drove it in, 15 cars deep, right then, Zach.
Oh, man.
That was insane watching him close that gap on Zach Murphy.
We'll take a look at that after interviews and the burnout, obviously. We take a look at that aggressive move. Obviously, both of them made it out clean.
As we see Jason Day burning it down with that MF Racing Designs maple syrup Canadian butt kicker, 5 Kings Motorsports. That's a little short-lived burnout.
Zach Murphy gonna finish second after trying to win 2 in a row. Started this race 16th, so absolutely the biggest mover of the race. But obviously, you know he'd have liked to have been one more position up. All right, I see we
Zach,
got.
I got race winner, and then I got Christian waiting on Zach to join Discord. It's all yours, brother.
Hey, Jason, Zach, and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
Man, so Tanner asked you during the race, and you didn't want to disclose it, which obviously we all get. But now after the race, can you explain to us your fuel situation in terms of how much you were able to save?
Oh, we didn't need to save any at all.
Oh, really?
Still
Okay.
went another.
So, wait. So y'all were good on fuel all night.
Oh yeah, it was good.
That's interesting. I had 5 or 6 drivers say there'd be one stop tonight for sure. Well, that makes me have egg on my face, Zach. We just whole storyline of the race.
Hey, it's
Not
all
true.
right.
All right. Anyways, Jason, tonight was the Jason Day show, but I mean Christian Pittman, he tried to play spoiler to that. I mean he was right on your back bumper for the after the competition caution. I know you didn't take tires. I think he said he took 4. How nervous was you? Honestly, just shoot me straight here. I mean, you know you got a teammate behind you, but you know gloves come off 20 laps in. What's going through your mind as them laps start winding down?
Well, I I just thought track position was going to be key, and I didn't think the fall off in the tires was that bad. I was hoping. I saw some guys pit. There was 2 or 3 guys that stayed out with me, and I was thinking that would just be enough time to buy time if we stayed green, that the tires would even out a little bit, and they didn't. There was a wreck, and Christian got right back up to me, and he fought me hard. But the first few laps on once the tires cooled down, I was still running the same lap times as I was at the start of the race, and then they just start to fall off. You just couldn't make a mistake. I had to hug right on that bottom line and stay there without making a mistake. So he had nowhere to go. He tried hard. I can't believe he didn't get by me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he was searching, and there was once I thought he was going to get the nose underneath you, but he raced you with respect. He raced you clean. He probably could have maybe, but it was too risky. I mean, it was just way too risky. Jason, I think you led 125 laps tonight. If you didn't lead all 125, you led 123. I mean, just a marvelous race. Great race, buddy. We'll ask you again. Can we ask you at the start of the race? You're the post sitter. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out to the world?
Well, of course, for you guys doing the broadcast and always doing a great job. 5 Kings Motorsports, check them out on Facebook. MF Designs, Butt Kicker, McConey Setup Shop for some really great setups. And just thank for family for letting me race and for everybody in the league for doing such a great job.
I feel like you got that wrote down, Jason.
I don't, but I got to remember.
Yeah, great job, buddy, and great win tonight. In all seriousness, very dominant car. The maple syrup Canadian leaf muscle looked great up there tonight.
Scotty Stevens said it the best. He said the maple syrup made my tires sticky, so that's why I was able to keep going.
Yep, that's some grip packs. Congratulations, buddy. I'm gonna send you back over to your race team. Mr. Zach Murphy is in the broadcast booth now. Zach.
Yeah, Zach. This is Zach and Tanner. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, you had to start in the back. Obviously, we talked to you about that and how you'd have to start in the back after winning. You finished one spot short, unfortunately, but a great race from you to get to in the second position. Take us through your race.
Kind of like we talked about before, the first 60 laps, I was kind of just trying to take it easy and bide my time. I figured there'd be a few wrecks. Just South Boston kind of breeds that, and we worked our way up through, and then we got to the pit stops, and we took all 4 tires, and I think we came out mid-pack, and then there was that wreck up front and got us into third. So things kind of timed out for us, and we never really got caught up in anything. So we just had luck fall on our side tonight.
Yes. Anytime you start in the back, it's a nail biter. You know, Zach, far too well after tonight. But starting South Boston in the back, I mean, there's not very many more tracks I can think of that's worse for that. When you actually found yourself up in the third, was you content to just ride there? I noticed that. I mean, passing obviously is a chore here, but you did it all night. Or was you ready to make a move if to pounce on the Christian or even the race win with Jason Day?
Yeah, those last few restarts were a little tricky, just trying to get position. And I got to Christian a few times. I couldn't quite, like you said, it was hard to pass. I couldn't quite get around him. Just trying to be clean out there. And I see he was battling with Jason there, so I was trying to give them some room in case something happened with them. And yeah, that last restart, Christian, I think he got bumped there, got loose. And I was lucky to get by in a second, but Jason's tire was starting to give up a little. If I had a few more laps, I might have made something happen. But it was good racing out there tonight.
It was. I mean, y'all were inches apart for about 15 laps there, and y'all never once y'all made slight contact. Christian got loose, but other than that, y'all didn't run over each other, nothing like that. So marvelous for that, and especially to start from the back, finish second. You can't complain with that. I mean, that's one spot short, we know, but it's still a podium finish, and it's a great points night for you. I know you were the points leader coming into the night, Zach, and so you helped that cause out. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out in the world?
I'd just like to thank my teammates over at SimCro. We race these modifieds week in, week out, and it's fun to come out here and do it in a fixed league and just really not have the pressure of the setups and just comes down to the driver and the track. So I'd like to thank you guys for putting this on and Five Kings Motorsports and the Crooked guys and everybody that makes this stuff happen.
Well, we just got a Five Kings shout out from a non-Five Kings driver. Thank you, Zach. You're a beautiful soul.
I know you guys put a lot into it and getting the streams going and stuff like that. So, we appreciate it.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you, and marvelous win or well, I'm sure it felt like a win. Marvelous second place finish tonight, brother.
Thanks, guys. You have a good night. We'll see you next week.
You too.
You too, buddy.
All right. And finally here tonight, Christian Pittman, our third place finisher. Christian, this is Zach and Tanner in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4. I got you guys.
All right. Well, I kind of pointed it out earlier in the broadcast that any racer, when you race, you want to win. But I felt like if you could get a nice top 3, top 5 after your rough start to the season, that it would almost feel like a win. Does it feel like that since you were able to finish third?
Oh, yeah, especially after last week's heartbreaker. Tonight, finishing in the top 3 is huge. It helps out the points a lot because the last 2 weeks are definitely going to have to be my drop week. So I've got to focus and be consistent because consistency wins championships, and that's what we're all here for, is to win the championship.
You're not lying, Christian, and whoever wins championship here, they're gonna get a free butt kicker game or two sent to their house, free shipping, free everything. So, I mean, that's something you gotta look to. And you hit on the points. You're currently sitting 16th before tonight's are tallied up. So, I mean, you got the 2 drop weeks. So I think you'll be okay. But before I ask you a question, can we just call you Mr. Disappointment? Because last week you led all the races, dominant car, ran out of fuel. Tonight you were knocking on Jason Day's door for 20 laps. And on that restart, before I even ask you an interview question, did you light the tires up, or did Max Carter just kind of get overzealous a little bit on the restart?
He got me and got us in the wall. And honestly, if I wouldn't have got moved there, or not moved, but got in the wall there, I think I would have had Jason because I was starting to figure out if I ran about a half a lane higher than him, I could get this run off the corner. I thought with 5 laps to go, I'd be able to get him, and well, that happened. But hey, top 3, we'll take it, regroup, and we're going to Iowa next week, and that's another one of my Bristols, so I'm excited to go there.
Iowa's definitely going to be a driver's track. It's going to be a fast track. It's not wide open like people think it would be, but you're not out of throttle much. Christian, I guess I did ask you my interview question, so we'll throw it to this. You got any sponsors or shout outs you want to thank before we close shop here?
Yeah, number one, of course, my grandparents, my dad, and my girlfriend, and then all the guys over at Five Kings and Butt Kicker and McConey Setup Shop, and especially you guys for broadcasting these races. It's been a blast.
Right on, Christian. Well, I know you finished 2 spots short. You ran second for most of the night. Pit strategy put you back, but you came right back up to the field and podium finish for you tonight. You can't be disappointed at that. So we'll be here next week calling the action for you at Iowa. Thank you for coming out, and we'll see you next week, buddy.
10-4, thank you.
All right, that was Christian Pittman, your third place finisher here tonight. Well, Tanner, 125 laps here at South Boston, and I believe we had about 30 caution laps or so, 40 caution laps. So, I mean, for a track like this, that's not even horrible, just because of how close quarters it is. We talked about it at the beginning of the night and all throughout the race, is how tough it is to race around other people and keep it clean when you're so close together. So I had a fun time here tonight at South Boston, and we got the results up, so we'll throw it to you. Your last thoughts on tonight's race?
Going into the night, Zach, I was really afraid that there's going to be a lot of cautions. And granted, we did have some cautions, but nothing like what I thought we would have. I'm disappointed in myself, thinking that fuel was going to be an issue, and it wasn't an issue at all. So, guess I need to check my sources and do a little research myself next time and not rely on other people, but that's okay too. And other than that, it was a great race. Great to see Jason Day win the thing tonight. Like seeing 2 Five Kings Motorsports guys finish in the top 3. Tough break for Jeff Paisley, newcomer to the series coming out. Actually finished 53 laps down. Had a rough start to the race and put him behind the 8 ball. But, all in all, good race, and excited to see what Iowa brings next week.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing about tonight's race that I'd like to point out is really all throughout the field. So I'm looking at fastest lap times, and it's 14.3 for our leaders, and then it's 14.5 for the last place finisher. Granted, Frank was wrecked in this race, but I mean, 2/10 separating the fastest lap from first to last. So I mean, that just shows how close in times this track is. And I mean, Jason, Zach, and Christian are top 3. Zach and Christian tied for 14.382 on fastest time, and Jason had a 14.390 for his fastest, and nobody else was in the 3s. So, I mean, it just shows truly how fast all 3 of those guys were. And, yeah, we'll wrap it up at least on this race. Next week we head to Iowa, like it has been mentioned, and maybe a little bit easier to try to pass people at that track. It's still a tough one, but a lot easier to pass there than it is here.
Absolutely. And draft comes into play there. I think pack racing will be a lot closer next week, Zach. I think we'll have a lot of side-by-side action. And low line's fast at Iowa, but, the high lane is too, and especially after that last update.
Yeah, I mean, you just called a race at Iowa in the Xfinity Series in Rebels Racing, and we get to call another one in these modified. So I'm looking forward to it. Make sure to tune in if you want to watch that for next Tuesday. Like we mentioned, we're going to head into Iowa. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night. If you're a fan of the Wednesday modified series, you get to see more of these wheel and tours. But as of tonight from South Boston, it's been Zach and Tanner in the booth from Rebels Racing Network. Have a good night.